Hello YouTube, here we are yet again with another unboxing video. Of course, in front of you here you kind of see a long box, too big to fit full in frame on the camera here. Of course we have ourselves a pull chainsaw, 6 amp, and it's a Ryobi brand. It's a factory reconditioned unit. Now I've seen this saw when it's a brand new saw in a retail location. I've seen them go as high as like $169 plus. This one here, again being a factory reconditioned, was $79.99. So let's tear into this baby and well, let's get a first look at her. So of course when you spread the box open, you see the saw. It is in there, which is a good thing. And you see it's, of course, your standard Ryobi green with a what looks like to be either plastic or carbon fiber handle. I'm kind of betting on plastic. So of course inside the box with the saw was a operator's manual. I'd recommend reading it. There are sometimes safety instructions in there that can help you from cutting off a limb or something. So right off the bat here, of course, it has a chain guard, if you want to call it that, basically just to protect the chain from going dull if you happen to drop the saw in storage or so. The amperage again is 6 amps. It's about 4 inches thick, like in depth or so you can store it almost anywhere. Assembled width is about 8 inches, just under, so again it will fit in basically any garden shed or so. It's got an 8-inch chain on it, which is a little bit of a downer, because I was looking for a replacement chain, because eventually I will need a chain for the saw. It's just part of the way she is, right? And I could not find a replacement chain online and stuff. They did sell chains. I found an 8-inch one, but it's specified for gas chainsaw only, so I don't know if you can jam one of them on an electric saw or not. Now of course it's got a max diameter of 6 inches, so it'll be no good for cutting a trunk or nothing, but it's good for cutting off limbs that are hanging over your property line and stuff like that. There is no capacity to extend the bar to like a 12-inch bar or something like that. That's a bit of a downside, but for a limmer it'd be pretty decent. So of course that little gray cap right there on the top is for your bar oil to keep your chain oiled. And again, this here, just like your standard gas chainsaw, you undo that nut, which gives you access to the bar itself. Of course on the other end of the saw you have that little gray knob there. That's basically what extends the saw, and extends from about 6 feet to 9 feet in total length. So you can stand on the roof of your house, or the roof of your garage and reach your neighbor's tree, or even a low-lying branch. You can stand on the ground for that. And at this end here you have yourself about 6 inches of a cord, which takes the 2-prong plug, and it has a little keeper here that you can put your extension cord in to wrap around to help pulling the cord out. So of course with the trigger, it has a safety guard on it, so you can't accidentally trigger it. So you got to push the gray switch in that's on the top, and you squeeze the trigger, and it starts to run. And the moment you let go of the trigger, it stops. It's kind of a dead man switch, if you want to say. It's kind of to help prevent you from accidental trigger and hurting yourself. Now just a rundown on some of the features. The total weight is 8.5 pounds, which is heavy when you're holding it above your head on a 9-foot pole. However, it is lighter than a gas unit. It does not have an anti-vibration handle, so that might get to you after a bit. It does have, like I showed you there, the chain tension adjustment, and it will run on up to 100 feet of cord. After that you start having issues, and it does take a 14 gauge extension cord to make this work proper. So of course guys, the moment you've all been waiting for, let's go out and give her a... Okay guys, so after you got your chain guard off and you made sure to add oil in the little reservoir for, of course, the chain, I'll plug her on in and then we'll give her a cut. Of course guys, there we go. Those are our cuts. I did 3 cuts as you've seen there. The work, or the log was kind of moving around a bit, so that kind of affected the efficiency of it. But other than that, it worked fairly well. So of course, the pros of this here unit is there's never any fuel to mix, never any spark plug to change, and never any carb to go bad. Pretty much as long as you have a decent cord and either a generator or access to power. And of course it does extend to 9 feet, so like I said, you can trim stuff from ground level or on roofs of houses or sheds or garages, versus having to lean a ladder against a tree and having to, you know, scale it, or, you know, having the risk of you falling out of the tree. Now, the cons of this here unit, of course, is it's electric, so you have to fight an extension cord. And if you're familiar with electric tools, you know, the cord is always an issue. If you're not careful, you could cut the electrical cord, which might curl your hair a little. There is a little bit of a weight issue there, but it's lighter than a gas anyway, so it kind of compensates for itself. Of course, like I did here guys, I bought the cheap factory reconditioned one because, well, it will be used a bit this year, and then basically it'll spend another year or so sitting. Then of course, once those trees grow back, I'll use it again, right? So it's not, you know, the carb's not gumming up from the stale fuel or anything like that. It basically just plug her in and away she goes again. Enjoy. So of course guys, in a few months or so, once I've done a bit of cutting with it, I can you know, come back, do a follow-up video of my thoughts. You know, if the thing's still running, did it burn itself out, how well did it work, you know, how many times the chain, you know, jumped off and stuff like that. But that pretty much concludes this unboxing video of a Ryobi 6 amp 8-inch pull saw. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's World. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.